Whether you're starting your morning with that first sip of coffee or catching up on the commute, you're about to hear something that could fundamentally change how you think about buying your next car. I'm Steve.
And I'm Claire. We're part of the Auto Agentic team, and this is Auto Intelligence, your source for sharp analysis on where automotive meets artificial intelligence. New episodes drop every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Before we dive in, Claire, I have to say, our audience keeps growing, and honestly, it's incredible to see how many of you are tuning in from dealerships, OEMs, and tech companies. The conversations you're having around these topics matter, and we're grateful you're letting us be part of them.
Absolutely. And today we're tackling something that's been keeping industry leaders up at night. We've got this comprehensive analysis covering 2024 through 2027 that essentially argues the entire automotive retail playbook is being rewritten, not just tweaked, completely rewritten.
Here's the thing that caught my attention immediately. We're not talking about Tesla versus traditional dealerships anymore. That binary thinking, it's already outdated. The data shows us something much more nuanced and frankly, much more interesting.
Right, so picture this. Tesla's first half of 2025 deliveries dropped 13% from the previous year. 720,803 units versus 830,766 in 2024. Meanwhile, GM led traditional automakers with 1.4 million deliveries, up 12%.
That's not just a blip. That's a trend that's reshaping everything we thought we knew about direct-to-consumer versus traditional retail models. Claire, when you look at these numbers, what's your take on what's actually happening here?
I think we're witnessing the end of the disruption narrative and the beginning of the integration era. Tesla proved direct-to-consumer could work. They saved about $2,000 per vehicle compared to traditional dealership models. But proving a concept and scaling it globally are two completely different challenges.
And the legal battles aren't helping. Tesla faced new lawsuits in Wisconsin in January 2025, and New York proposed legislation to revoke their sales permits in March. When you're fighting 50 different state franchise laws, that's not a sustainable business model. That's a legal nightmare.
Exactly. But here's where it gets really interesting. While Tesla's struggling with legal challenges, traditional automakers are quietly leveraging their dealer networks to compete in the EV space. GM's EV sales increased by more than 100% in Q2, with Chevrolet becoming the best-selling EV brand.
That's the part that I find fascinating. The established players aren't just surviving, they're thriving by adapting rather than revolutionizing. It's like they took the best parts of the direct-to-consumer playbook and integrated them into their existing infrastructure.
Speaking of integration, let's talk about what consumers actually want. Because this is where the rubber meets the road, literally. The research shows that 77% of consumers prefer fixed pricing. They want that Tesla-like transparency. But here's the kicker. 61% still want to complete their purchases at dealerships.
So consumers are essentially saying, give me the transparency and simplicity of Tesla, but let me still have the physical presence and service network of traditional dealerships. That's not a contradiction. That's a roadmap for the future.
And generational shifts are accelerating this. Millennials represent 31% of likely car buyers in early 2025, followed by 21% of Gen Z buyers. These digital natives expect seamless, transparent, personalized experiences that neither pure, direct-to-consumer nor traditional models currently deliver consistently.
Let's dig deeper into the performance data because I think it tells a story that a lot of people are missing. Claire, when you look at traditional dealership performance in 2024, what stands out?
The numbers are sobering but not catastrophic. The nation's approximately 16,957 franchised light vehicle dealers sold 15.9 million vehicles, generating over $1.2 trillion in total sales. But, and this is important, average dealership net pre-tax profit dropped by 24.4%.
That's a significant retreat from pandemic-era pricing power. Gross profit per new vehicle fell 33% to $2,247. But here's what's interesting. Service revenue actually grew.
Service and parts revenue reached $156.46 billion in 2024, representing 13.2% of total dealership sales, up from 12.4% in 2023. This is huge because it shows dealerships have a revenue stream that direct-to-consumer models struggle to replicate.
And this is where we start to see the hybrid model advantage. Traditional dealerships have established service networks, immediate parts availability, and local relationships. Direct-to-consumer models have transparency, digital convenience, and streamlined purchasing. Why choose when you can integrate both?
The Mercedes-Benz European agency model is a perfect example. They saw a 17% market share increase in 2024 by implementing a controlled transition that maintained dealer relationships while adding direct-to-consumer elements. It's not revolution, it's thoughtful evolution.
But not every experiment worked. Volkswagen paused its direct-to-customer BEV sales in December 2024 due to complexity and poor customer experience. BMW adjusted its timeline for full rollout. These setbacks highlight that execution is everything.
Absolutely. And this brings us to a critical point about global market dynamics. China's automotive market reached 15.65 million units in the first half of 2025, with new energy vehicles representing 44.3% of total sales.
That's not just electrification, that's a complete market transformation. BYD alone sold over 1 million EVs globally in the first half of 2025, decisively surpassing Tesla's volume. Chinese manufacturers like BYD and SAIC Group both exceeded 2 million units in sales.
And they're doing it with regulatory environments that are much more favorable to new sales models. This creates a competitive dynamic where Chinese manufacturers can experiment with retail approaches that might be restricted in other markets.
Which brings us to the regulatory battlefield. The politicization of retail models represents a new challenge for direct-to-consumer approaches. Reports suggest that Elon Musk's political involvement is affecting regulatory sentiment, adding complexity far beyond traditional business considerations.
You're listening to Auto Intelligence, brought to you by AutoAgentic, the platform transforming automotive retail with intelligent, human-centered AI. We're not just talking about these changes, we're helping dealerships and manufacturers navigate them with over 90 modular agents that handle everything from lead nurturing to inventory optimization. Now, back to today's topic.
So, where does this leave us for the next phase of evolution? Claire, when you project forward to 2026 and 2027, what patterns are you seeing?
The electrification timeline is accelerating everything. Global electric car sales are expected to increase by 25% in 2025, topping 20 million worldwide. By 2027, EVs are forecast to account for 1 in 3 new vehicle registrations in Europe.
And here's something that's often overlooked. Hybrid vehicle sales saw over 19% year-on-year growth in 2024, projected to increase to over 23% in 2025. This represents consumer preference for a middle ground between traditional ICE vehicles and full EVs.
Which mirrors what we're seeing in retail models. Consumers want hybrid approaches that combine the best of both worlds. They want transparency without sacrificing service quality. They want digital convenience without losing human interaction.
Let's talk about the artificial intelligence component, because this is where things get really interesting. AI is becoming the great equalizer between traditional dealers and direct-to-consumer models.
Exactly. 44% of consumers now trust AI recommendations over salespeople, and 61% want AI agents to recommend vehicles. Buyers engaging with chatbots report a 57% improvement in their dealership experience. AI integration isn't a competitive advantage anymore, it's a necessity.
And this is where the software-defined vehicle market becomes crucial. It's expected to reach 7.6 million units in 2025, fundamentally changing how vehicles are updated, maintained, and monetized throughout their life cycle.
This affects both sales and service models. When vehicles can be updated over the air, the relationship between manufacturer, dealer, and consumer becomes much more continuous and complex. You're not just selling a car, you're selling an ongoing service relationship.
Which brings us to service model transformation. By 2026, over half of new cars registered are expected to be electric, and by 2027, 41% of 1 to 3-year-old cars in the park are forecast to be EVs. This will fundamentally reshape service revenue models for both traditional dealers and direct-to-consumer manufacturers.
And here's where traditional dealerships might actually have an advantage. They already have physical locations, trained technicians, and established service relationships. Direct-to-consumer models have to build all of this from scratch.
So what does the winning formula look like? Based on all this data, what should companies be focusing on?
The automotive retail leaders of 2025 through 2027 will be those who master omnichannel integration between digital and physical touchpoints. They'll deliver transparent pricing without sacrificing service quality or choice. They'll leverage AI effectively to enhance rather than replace human interaction.
And critically, they'll adapt to regulatory environments while advocating for sensible policy evolution. The legal challenges facing direct-to-consumer models aren't going away. Success requires working within existing frameworks while pushing for reasonable reforms.
The most successful models will combine digital convenience from direct-to-consumer approaches, transparent pricing, online configuration, seamless financing, with physical presence from traditional dealerships, test drives, local service, immediate delivery.
Plus AI-powered personalization that enhances rather than replaces human interaction and comprehensive service networks that provide consumer choice and convenience. It's not about choosing between old and new. It's about creating something better than either approach alone.
For traditional dealer networks, the digital transformation roadmap is clear. Immediate actions include implementing fixed-price online sales pilots with real-time inventory integration, launching certified EV technician training programs, and deploying AI-powered CRM systems for predictive customer engagement.
For direct-to-consumer manufacturing strategies, it's about building sustainable infrastructure. This means developing state-by-state legal roadmaps for franchise law navigation, establishing independent service networks or strategic partnerships, and creating pop-up experience centers in top 20 metropolitan areas.
But for all market participants, the future-proofing strategies are similar. Invest in omni-channel platforms that seamlessly connect online and offline experiences. Develop first-party data capabilities for customer retention and personalization. Implement AI solutions that enhance rather than replace human interactions.
And monitor and influence franchise law evolution. Prepare for potential federal intervention in state-level restrictions. Develop flexible business models that can adapt to changing regulations.
You know what strikes me most about this analysis? We're not witnessing dramatic disruption anymore. We're witnessing sophisticated evolution. Tesla's first half 2025 struggles and traditional automakers' growth demonstrate that neither pure direct-to-consumer nor traditional models alone can dominate this complex market.
Consumer preferences are driving integration, with 77% preferring fixed pricing, but 61% wanting to complete purchases at dealerships. Consumers are clearly signaling their preference for hybrid approaches that combine the best aspects of both models.
And the regulatory reality can't be ignored. The legal challenges facing direct-to-consumer models, from Tesla's Wisconsin lawsuit to New York's proposed legislation, demonstrate that regulatory navigation remains a critical success factor.
So what's the key takeaway for our listeners? Whether you're running a dealership, working at an OEM, or building automotive technology, the future isn't about choosing between direct-to-consumer and traditional dealerships. It's about building integrated solutions that deliver what consumers actually want.
Transparency, convenience, choice, and trust. Success in this evolving landscape requires immediate action on digital transformation, strategic thinking about regulatory positioning, and unwavering focus on customer experience excellence.
The companies that recognize this reality first and execute brilliantly will define the next era of automotive commerce. The hybrid future is here. The question isn't whether to adapt, but how quickly and effectively you can lead the transformation.
Looking ahead, I think we're going to see more strategic partnerships between traditional manufacturers and dealers around digital transformation. The winning companies will be those who can navigate the complexity while keeping the customer experience simple and seamless.
That's exactly right. And for our listeners who are in the middle of these transformations, remember that this isn't just about technology, it's about people. The most successful implementations will be those that enhance human relationships rather than replacing them.
Before we wrap up, I want to highlight something that really resonated with me from this analysis. The automotive retail leaders of the next few years will be those who focus on customer outcomes rather than defending particular business models. That's a mindset shift that could make all the difference.
Absolutely. The future belongs to those who can combine the transparency and efficiency of direct-to-consumer models with the trust and service excellence of traditional dealerships. It's not an either-or proposition. It's a both-and opportunity.
This has been Auto Intelligence. I'm Claire, and this is Steve. We're part of the Auto Agentic team, and we're grateful you joined us for this deep dive into the evolution of automotive retail.
Auto Agentic is pioneering AI-driven solutions that help dealerships and manufacturers navigate exactly these kinds of transformations. We're not just delivering technology, we're delivering trusted guidance that helps human teams thrive in an AI-enhanced world. That's why we're known as the most human AI company in automotive retail.
We'd like to thank our producer, Barry Hillier, co-founder and CEO of Auto Agentic AI, for his vision in bringing these conversations to our industry. If you'd like to reach out with topic suggestions or feedback, email us at barry@autoagentic.ai. Barry's always looking for exciting new companies and people shaping the future of mobility.
This episode was produced by the team at Auto Agentic. Learn more at autoagentic.ai. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.